What's up, y'all? Today I got another banger masterpiece here. This book is Tongues by Anders Nilsen. This book I honestly almost didn't get because from what I've heard, from what I had heard before I actually bought the book, this seemed like a really smart, kind of artsy fartsy comic, which honestly is not the kind of comic books I usually go for. My smooth brain can only handle so much. So it seemed a little bit like I don't want to say this like disparagingly, but like some of these like Fantagraphicsy books where they're like introspective and artsy and like a little bit more indie, sometimes just doesn't. Usually, I'd say doesn't mesh with my tastes. So when I saw this, I was like, is this one of those that I'm like not gonna get? And I'm gonna read like 300 pages and be confused and be like, I don't understand what's going on here. And I am a little confused, but in the best way. I loved this book. I like literally just finished it last night before recording this video. It is a dense read. This book, I mean, we'll go into it. It takes a long time to read this book, but I think it's all for good reasons. First thing I wanted to point out is like the inventive stuff that Anders Nielsen does with this book. I don't know. Oops. I don't know what he had to do to get the printing options to like put all these little fold out pages in, but they're sick. And we have like these little things in the beginning. It's just so much. Oops. I put this on wrong. But I mean, his books are like, he's like reinvented comics. It feels like in like certain ways. Like in 2 pages of this comic has more of what makes comics great than I've read in like whole collected editions, you know? Anders Nielsen is doing insane things with the pages. First thing he does is all of these crazy like panel shapes. It's like all very like geometric, or he ends up going into this like kind of like teardrop shape is one that he uses a lot, and he's drawing things outside of the panels just as like decoration that have to do with the themes and like some of the stuff happening in the book. He's drawing like this was the example I used with my friend the other day. This dude loves to draw so much. Like, look at how full this page is, and it's completely dedicated to this bird exploring this turnover Jeep. Right? I feel like a lot of comics wouldn't give the quiet moments that much importance, as they're running through. And I know that like there's a difference between like the typical monthly comics in this where they like, only have so much real estate. But like it's so refreshing to see a book that is like here for it, He's like, I'm gonna make I'm gonna make it exactly how it needs to be is always something that I love in comics. Like, look at these panel borders, dude. He's a sicko. He's so good. He's so good. And it honestly offers for these moments of dialogue in his story. Not moments of dialogue, but we'll go through like these full conversations. And I feel like it ends up feeling more like real people talking to each other because they will like not say things and it'll just cut to their face and they'll just be like silently listening. And one guy will keep going, and like the tempo of it is so helped by the ability to fill these pages with many small panels of like interesting shapes, and jetting them like this into the in-betweens of panels are kind of like on top of or like decorated around. It's really something else, man. And I mean, just look at these pages, dude. Look at this, man. This guy loves to draw, man. I honestly read this book, and if you guys don't know, I make my own comic books, and I read this, and I was like, maybe I don't love comics as much as I think I do, dude. Because this guy really loves drawing, bro. Like, this stuff here. Look at this page. Guy trips, falls, lays on the ground while he walks. Look at how much space is dedicated to this. He does a whole page just for that, and it's beautiful. And it adds so much to, like, what this book is, which I should probably get into. This book is, it's one of those where we have 3 disparate stories that are, they're, loosely coming together as these things happening. The main story behind this is a retelling of the Prometheus myth, which I read on the back, and I was like, yo, a retelling of, I don't know, man. This is what I mean. This is what I mean where I was like, that sounds really smart, and I don't know if I can do that. We follow this guy here. He's got a teddy bear on his backpack, and there's another little girl whose story we follow. And at first, it seems insane, and you're like bouncing between these, and you're like, I actually have no idea how these things could connect in any way that is like meaningful. I have no idea. But sure enough, Anders Nilsen is a genius, and he gets it done. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my god, it's beautiful. I love the art on this book. I really, really do love the art on this book, but I think that Anders Nilsen, the writer, is also spectacular. The dialogue of his characters is, it's, there's a lot of words on every page in this book, and usually I don't like that. But the way he writes, like the cadence of these characters, like voices, just works, and so like the flow of the reading is beautiful as you're going through it. I think it's really remarkable. It's a skill that like I feel like a lot of comics writers either don't have or don't exercise in the same way. I think that the common idea is that in a comic book you should not have a bunch of words on any given page, and I don't think that's wrong. But this guy's the words on his page are all like character speaking without the like anchors of exposition attached to it. Like these characters talk a lot, but none of it is like lore dumpy explaining things. Like I hate the dialogue that just explains what's happening as it's happening. And that's never the case. It's always the voice of the character coming through so strongly that it's like them working with what they have in front of them. And it's really, really honestly like thrilling to read. Because nothing goes how... I mean, not that there's any tropes that involve, you know, like talking chickens and monkeys and overturned jeeps in the desert. But, like, whenever there's an opportunity of what a lesser book would kind of fall back on and be like, this is too weird, this is too confusing, I should put some stuff so that people understand what's happening. It never does that. It's like this little girl kind of being an asshole to this talking chicken and being like, yo, dude, like, there's literally no reason for me to believe you. And there's a lot of like, I don't know, they ask interesting questions. It's never what you necessarily are expecting them to say, but once they say it, it makes like perfect sense that they would do so. I'm gonna skip this chunk because I think there's some things I can't show. Oh, here we go. What a page to flip to. He's got sneaky good like building architecture stuff in this book. It doesn't come up a lot because a lot of this book takes place in like open desert. But I was really blown away by some of these. Like this tower here, the perspective is sick. I don't know. He is really good at like I believe he colors this work. And like the colors really set the tone and like the atmosphere and can really help as you're kind of like jumping between stories. So some of the, you know, magic that comic books can do is they can like change settings through just color, and you're like, oh, you didn't have to even put any words to it. I understand that we're in a different place than we were before. I'm gonna skip this. There is a little bit, oh, so sick. In this book, there's a little bit of like nasty gore stuff. It's not like gratuitous, like, you know, like slasher movie type of gore, but a lot of people are like things grow out of them or are like sliced out of them. And it happens quite a bit. But it didn't freak me out, and I have, you know, a weak stomach with these things. Yeah, like stuff like this happens quite a bit. I have a pretty weak stomach when it comes to a lot of like the nasty gore drawings. I mean, I read Invincible and I love that, so you know, but that doesn't feel like this one is like grounded, kind of grisly stuff, to be honest. But it didn't push me away from it. I think that this book is like a true masterpiece type of work. I think that this is like magnum opus territory here. I don't know how long Anders Nilsen worked on this before it was collected in this book. I did a little bit of research like on his website, and it seems like quite a long time, and it got collected in here. But I think every moment of it was worth it. And like this feels like what comics should be to me. Like I prefer that you take as long as it takes and then come out with a end product like this every time, because I think being totally dead ass I think there are lots of creators who wish to be given the runway to do this, but comics doesn't necessarily support that of like, hey, take your time and make a masterpiece. It's, you know, a treadmill that's constantly moving. So whenever one of these comes along, I think it's important that it's like supported and lauded and celebrated and all of that stuff. Yeah, Tongues by Anders Nilsen. I've flipped through so much of this book. I actually don't want to show you guys any more of this book. Don't be intimidated by this. My smooth brain could understand and handle this. This book is a masterpiece. I think it's one of... It's got to be one of my top books of the year. I was going to say my favorite book of the year. I've read some good stuff, though. But it's up there, for sure. I think it's at least top 3. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. I do think, you know, my one gripe is it does slow down a little bit at the end. And also, you guys should know this is a volume 1, so the story does not end here. I have no idea when the volume 2 is coming out. I don't think there's been anything put out to show when that will be. But Tongues by Anders Nilsen, I think, is like a true masterpiece. I think that everyone's lives would be improved by reading it. It might be too weird for you, but I think that's the point. And I think weirdness, we don't have enough of it, man. So yeah, that's going to be the end for this video. If you are reading any weird books that are like a kind of a quirky, hard recommend, please leave it in the comments below. I'll go and read them. And then I will see you guys in the next one. Yo, before you go, I wanted to show you the comics that I make. This is The Gifts of the Zadik. It follows our main character, Ram, who has just been crowned the Zadik, also known as the Chosen One, in his small village, and given unreal powers. But as soon as he gets these powers, he is disillusioned by the role that his people wish him to play, and so he wants to go out and find how to become a hero out in the world. It'll sweeten the pot. He also finds that there's another Chosen One out there, somewhere in the world, that maybe can give him answers and help him find his true purpose. If you are interested in buying this book, you can get them at lior.com. It's a great way to support me, the artist, and the guy who runs this channel. Thank you all for watching. I'll see y'all later.